For years when I DJ'd, I never understood why people talked about stories at a wedding. Stories are for people doing speeches, right? The best man will stand up and tell a cool story. The father of the bride always loves to tell a story about how he met the groom the first time, or the day that the bride told him that he was going to dance with her. You know, a lot of stories happening at a wedding reception. But the idea that we are in control of those stories had never really wrapped around my brain. And even though you get that, and I know many of you who are watching this get that we are telling stories, that we are there to tell the story of the couple, especially those of you who do things like narrative stories of the couple doing love stories, or specialized introductions and things like that. You kind of get the idea that you have the skill, or at least have the permission to be able to do those sorts of things. But what I want to talk about is how each event that you do is a story within a story within a story within a story of itself, and how you get to frame that and how it goes. And this is another one of those things that's really good to be able to understand when you begin to look at your business and say, okay, I need something to change, or I'm hoping it's going to evolve. What do I do? When people call me all the time, what do I do? You know, I want it to be something new. I want to start looking at my business a certain way. And in the Entertainment Experience Workshop, we spend a great deal of time on this breakdown, because when I started to do it, I sat down and I started to look at every single solitary moment at a wedding, because mostly I do weddings, and because weddings have the most moving parts, it's what I talk about. That I started to deconstruct it. Okay, what was happening, why it was happening, where people were going, what was the story around them showing up and why they were there, and what they were hoping to achieve and what they were hoping to see, and how much of that I could pull the strings on, and I could create for them around what was necessary. And really, it starts basically, okay, a story in its very essence is a series of events. Okay, it's just this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. You break it down even broader, it has a beginning. Great story has a beginning, and even a bad story has a beginning, and a middle, and an ending. Okay, and there are lots of stories within our events, just like there are lots of stories within your day. Okay, when people go to a church and they see the wedding, the beginning for the guest, their story and how their story is happening for them is they arrive, the beginning, the wedding, the middle, and I now pronounce you husband and wife, the end. That's their story that they are in, that they are a part of. That story's happening. But within that story, there are the vows, and there's a beginning. This is the vows. This is why the vows are important. Here are the vows, and yay, they did the vows. Okay, there's the story. In the cocktail hour, we showed up for the cocktail hour. We looked for our friends. There's the middle. We had a few drinks, and dinner's about to start. So goodbye. Let me find my seat. Beginning, middle, end. Dinner, same thing. And within the dinner, there's how you enjoy your meal, and how you see things happening, and the introductions themselves from the DJ, beginning and a middle and end. Okay, all of these things are important, and it's happening already. Is the point I'm making? That's already part of their experience. So if you know that that's their part of experience, that's the part of their experience, then you know that there are ways for you to be able to write the narration that goes on for them. You want the room to feel the way you want them to feel. The bride and groom have told you, hey, I want them all to feel great. I want them to feel romantic. I want them to really get us. Okay, so you need to frame that, and the best way to do it is within stories, because we live and die in stories all the time. There's a story going on here with me and telling you about what's happening. So not understanding that means you just are a victim to how it goes. And you get to just react. Oh, that happened. I better get on top of that. Or I see that. Well, let me find a song. As opposed to you writing the story. The guy with the microphone is the most powerful guy in the room. So if you understand the story that's going on, first of all, and then you understand the story that needs to be told, and then the moral of the story, which is what the bride and groom will want everybody to get to know, then you can steer the ship. And once you're steering the ship, now everybody gets to experience that all at once, and it was you that had them do that, then you have a very powerful place to serve, to really create something amazing. Now, what I would suggest is for you to just sit down tomorrow and look at what you do. Because we all, as much as I don't do the same thing every single time. Yeah, you do. Everybody kind of does. So just sit down and look at the things you're doing now and then deconstruct out that stuff. Where are those tiny stories? And then if you took a tiny story of just the arrival and you found the place in it that you could make it better and you could shape the narration around what's important to the bride and groom, how would you do that? You don't necessarily have to, but it's a great exercise to start seeing how much power you actually have in every single moment of any event you do. What do you think of this? I mean, this is way deeper concept than I can get into in a small podcast. At the workshop, we spend a great deal of time making sure that everybody really gets this in such a way that it's just ingrained in them. The workshop it happens once a year, twice a year, whenever I do it. I'll tell you when I do. And in fact, if you go to the Facebook page for the Entertainment Experience or go to entertainment-experience.com, when I make announcements about it, you'll know. But I want to know what you think of this now. So write some stuff down in the comments or send me an email. Discuss it. Share this video. Tell as many people as possible. Subscribe to the Facebook page, to the YouTube page. My goodness, the more people that are subscribed, the bigger this becomes, and the more I can continue to do this. And then the more I can tell you as many stories as I can. In fact, next week, maybe I'll tell you a couple of stories about when I used to work in the bars. Not the prettiest stories in the world, but you might relate. I'm Bill Herman, and this is Creative License. See you next time.